on sitting in my chair late at night, watching crime unfold under the pale moonlight. From the darkest corner, stories unfold. True crime jewels, she's brash and she is bold. On the YouTube screen, we're digging deep into the mysteries that never sleep. From missing kids in Tennessee to angry husbands named buried. True crime's calling, and we're taking the time. So grab a seat, don't miss a beat. This True Crime Jewels got what you need. From missing people to twisted minds, we're unraveling secrets old Barry tried to hide. Every clue, every twist and turn. In the world of crime, there's always more to learn. On the YouTube screen, we're digging deep into the mysteries that never sleep. From Christopher's anger to Stephen Fisher's lies. The truth is calling, and justice won't be denied. So grab a seat, don't miss a beat. True Crime Jewels on the YouTube streets. Lights are low, suspense is high. We're chasing truth, we spot every lie. Step into the darkness, hold on tight. Two flashlights out there in the dead of night. On the YouTube screen, we're digging deep. Barry Morphew's case is hot. A boy in Tennessee won't be left behind. From the coldest cases to the ones that shine, True Crime's calling, and we're taking the time.
All right, everybody. I hope you guys are all doing very, very well. I have been on a literal and figurative odyssey, and I am finally now home. Diane, I hope the snow is beautiful where you are at. I got my flights were canceled because of snow. And so I finally just said, here's how bad it was. They offered $2,500 for someone to not get on a plane. They were going to try to take off in the snow, but the weight was too heavy. So they had to take 6 people off the flight because of the fuel and whatnot. So anyway, what should have been a little 2.5-hour flight turned into 10, 11, 12-hour journey with multiple stops at airports that are not even on the map, and I am home. So that is why I did not cover the Zachary Hughes trial today. I may do it in a little while when I finish this particular live. I'll just kind of see how I feel about it. Because right now, this is actually a reaction video. I'm angry, like super, super angry. And what I'm referring to is Laura Lodge's new interview of Seth Rogers. Tony Mathis was also, so it was the two Aidens, Seth, and then Tony Mathis. And I was listening to it as I was going back and writing notes and, working. And I thought it was a super interview. I thought it was great. Everything was going great. I agree. I didn't see there were no red flags. It just seemed a necessary live to try to stop the insanity. You hear me? SF craps in the woods like an idiot bear. You, sir, are a terrible human being, in my opinion. That what you have done in multiple cases, you have now done exponentially out of control with you inserting lies, you gaslighting the public, you misleading the parents of a missing kid. It's absolutely unforgivable. SF Investigates. You are absolutely terrible. the rumors that you have started, I am absolutely certain that they have all been started by SF Investigates as a part of his disinformation campaign. I'm absolutely convinced of it. And he may have gone too far now, right? He may have, now we know the truth. Now we know what's real. And to tell you the truth, people like Cluminati and Cletus, I don't know too much about Queen Bee. I can't really tolerate listening to their panel or their show, but I do sometimes listen to Cluminati. You guys, you two are not stupid people. You guys are educated, and you're you're smart. And it sure seems to me you might stop and ask yourselves why it would be that a liar who is under suspicion of disappearing their child, why would that person go on a huge podcast, very well known and well liked, knowing that he's under suspicion by law enforcement? Why would he go on, even with an official spokesperson at his side, and reveal things that are easily verified by law enforcement? He knows, Seth Rogers knows law enforcement is watching every move he makes. Tony Mathis knows that law enforcement is watching every move that he and his family make. They're all under the microscope, along with Christopher Proudfoot, who cannot control his anger long enough to get a piece of bubble gum out of a wrapper that's stuck. His anger is the kind of anger, that fire flash anger is the kind of thing that gets people killed. And his wife has been, okay, I got to be careful here. Katie Proudfoot presents herself as an incredibly compliant human being. She's the kind of person, not she is the kind of person, some of the things that she has demonstrated would be consistent with the type of person that an abusive, misogynistic asshole would look for in a mate. These guys know how to find a compliant victim. And the sad thing is, when people are trained to be incredibly compliant, they lose the ability to push back, to protect themselves, but more importantly, they lose the ability to push back to protect their children or other people they may see that are being mistreated or abused. That law enforcement has access to all of the counseling records and 5 CPS investigations, one of which was opened in February just before Special went missing, that this law enforcement has not acted on this information, should be brought to the attention of the state. That is the truth. Sebastian was victimized so many times. He was victimized in California. He was victimized again in Tennessee over and over and over. He came under the protective status of CPS in California and in Tennessee, and no one helped him. No one helped him. This is unforgivable of the sheriff. This is unforgivable. It is unforgivable. It is unforgivable. So one of the things that really triggered me was during the interview when Seth and Tony talked about this 10-year age difference in California. And I know what they're talking about. Different states, it's different. Louisiana's got like a 4-year age. Texas, I think, is 2 years. Maybe I got that backwards. Maybe 2 years. And the year after Sebastian was assaulted by a kid that was much older than him. Much older than him. He was a 7-year-old little kid. The kid that attacked him was 9 years older than him and a teenager. That kid knows what sex is. He knows what it is. And a 7-year-old child does not. And the state of California refused to bring legal charges against the teenager. And then 1 year after this happened, then California came up with a new law saying, no. It doesn't matter how old the perpetrator is. It doesn't matter if they're 12 years old or 10 years old. You can prosecute. So I can't even imagine. One of the things in this case that I thought was just so crazy was Christopher Proudfoot's statement to Seth when he first gets in touch with him the morning that Sebastian is found missing. And his very, very, very first words to Seth were, "Don't get mad, but we can't find Sebastian." And I always thought, that is very strange, right? What a crazy way to tell the father of a kid, like a dad who loves this kid, who's well engaged, right? Like in the relationship, like they're buddies, right? What a weird way to tell that man that his kid is missing. Don't get mad. And I thought, golly, that is very strange. Like, what the hell's going on with Christopher Proudfoot that's the way he chooses to talk to Seth? I thought it was crazy. Well, now it's not so damn crazy, right? Because now you go back and you look at the history, and I'm really glad that Seth did this interview with Laura Lodge. I'm really glad that he took a deep breath and he decided to go ahead and put the truth out there. And Proudfoot fan club, listen carefully before you start your bullshit. Again, why would a man who is under suspicion by law enforcement for the disappearance of his son, why would he knowingly tell these big whopper lies that are easily proven what? True? All you got to do, Sheriff Craddock, is just go and pull the file, because you have everything that Seth has. You have the CPS reports. You have the counseling notes. You've got the divorce paperwork. You've got it all. So the sheriff knows this. The district attorney knows this information. Right? So you people in the Proudfoot fan club, you better be careful. You better start evaluating why you stand where you stand, because you're about to look damn ass stupid. That's where it's going to end up. You're going to end up looking foolish because you have gone to bat for these two abusers. That's the reality. So Sebastian is assaulted as a 7-year-old child in California. The state refused to act on it. The military provided a child psychologist to do therapy with this 7-year-old child, but it had to be Seth to contact the damn law enforcement, at least to alert the school psychologist so that this kid did not assault any other children. How do you make sense of that, Cluminati? How do you make sense of that? And again, what Seth said was stuff that there's a paper trail. There's a paper trail. Law enforcement knows what actually happened in California. And the Proudfoot fan club is saying, oh, Seth's got an anger problem. He was kicked off a military base. And Katie and Christopher Proudfoot went along with that bullshit. They went along with that lie that he was kicked off the base. He wasn't kicked off the base. He got a phone call and said, we don't want you coming back up here. You were angry when you came up here. You told us about Sebastian. You yelled at our psychologist. We don't really want you up here anymore. And you know why I am so damn complete certain that law enforcement has the information? Because if it involved a psychologist, it was in her notes. That I can promise you. So fan club, you might want to chill a little bit on who it is that you're attacking, number one. And number two, who it is that you're welcoming into your circle of trust. Now, I'm going to start some of this Lore Lodge. Obviously, I can't play his whole interview. That's his living. That's how he makes his living. So the I'm going to put the link to the full interview in the chat. I hope you'll wait to go over there until after I finish with my live. I would appreciate that. Let me put it into a, hold on, paste. I did something wrong. Wait a minute. What did I do wrong? There's what I did wrong. Okay, I'm also going to put it on the scroll bar. Okay, so this is Lore Lodge interview. But please wait before you go over there. Please finish my video first. Okay. And mods, if you would just kind of occasionally keep putting up Lore Lodge's link to this particular, the Lore Lodge interview with Seth Rogers from last night, I would appreciate that. Okay. Now that all that business part is done. So here is the interview. I'm going to start at a very specific part of this. Carol says she's already seen it, and it was such a necessary interview and so well done. And the two Aidens, you are so necessary in this case. Thank you so much. Thank you. Okay, now then, I'm going to start this one particular part of the interview so that I can continue my comments that I'm talking about with how Sebastian has been failed dramatically by the state of California. Now he's been failed by the state of Tennessee. He's been failed by by the sheriff of the Hendersonville, and that Katie Proudfoot should be arrested, 100% should be arrested for allowing her child to be around a known sex offender who has a lifelong designation that she is not allowed to be around children at all. And again, Sheriff Craddock knows all this. The law enforcement of Sumner County knows everything that I'm saying to you, and they have not arrested this woman. If for nothing more, why wasn't she arrested for the child abuse of a kid who's of protected status? Why? This is the most disgusting case, worse than what happened to Suzanne Morphew. So much worse than what happened to Suzanne Morphew. So much worse. So much worse. It's unforgivable. It's absolutely unforgivable.
No contact when she decided that she was going to divorce me. Then she started having contact with her. And then I found out that my son was having contact with us.
So what Seth is saying, again, Proudfoot fan club, listen closely. Everything this man is saying is verifiable through a document trail. Law enforcement knows this. Why would he get on a public platform with over 100,000 subscribers and tell lies that the investigators, the district attorney, can call bullshit on and come and arrest his ass? Why? You guys look stupid by not thinking all the way through this. You really are looking foolish. So what he's referring to is that Katie's mother is a sex offender, a registered sex offender. And she has been ordered. There is a lifelong designation. She cannot be around children, period. None of them. And while Katie was married to Seth, and they had Sebastian, and he's growing up, and he seems to be doing fine. He's not having all these behavioral problems that he developed after Christopher Proudfoot came into his life. Before the divorce, Katie was not having contact with her mother. And then she tells Seth, I want to get a divorce. I don't want to be with you anymore. Enter Christopher Proudfoot, stage left would be my guess. And then he finds out that, oh, now she is having contact with her mother, and she is letting Sebastian, a kid, a child, hang out with the sex offender mother, or technically his sex offender grandmother, violating state law in Virginia. I'm sorry, Sheriff, where the hell are you? Have you looked at this case at all? Oh, you're just worried about your reelection campaign? Is that right? You worried about money for your reelection?
So Katie's, okay, that's important. You're telling me Katie's mother is this an adjudicated thing that she's not supposed to be around children? Or is this Tony, you're nodding your head yes?
Yes.
State mandated.
State mandated. And yet Katie was allowing her mother, who has a directive from the state not to be around children or contact children. Katie was allowing them to communicate.
Let me clarify that, Aiden. What was happening is Katie's mother's.
Be right back.
Sure.
Okay.
Now listen to how conniving and underhanded, and dare I say it, compliant Katie Proudfoot is. Listen to what she was doing. She doesn't give a damn that it is state mandated that her mom not have any contact with any child whatsoever. Katie doesn't care. Katie is going to do whatever she's told to do. Mark my words. She is going to do whatever she is told to do. And the only thing standing between Katie and disaster is that the person who's holding her reins doesn't tell her to do something awful. kind of like Christopher Watts. If Katie is fortunate and the person who is in a position of authority tells her to do something good and kind, then Katie looks like an angel because she's going to do it. But if the person, the authority figure directing her, is a bad person, she could end up with a real problem. And I suspect once she decided that she was going to be getting rid of Seth, her grandma told her, you need to let your mom, you need to be nice to your mom. You need to let her know her grandson. She's different. She's changed. And compliant Katie goes right along with it.
Katie's mother's mother, which would be Katie's grandmother, which would be Sebastian's great-grandmother, lived kind of in the same property. They had different structures, but it was all part of the same property there in Virginia. And we know this because we've seen the property. We've been there. What would happen is Sebastian, if you remember Katie talking about Sebastian FaceTiming his family members about his pancakes that morning. Do you remember that?
Yes.
Fun fact.
What would happen is he would FaceTime his great grandmother,
so disgusting,
who he could legally have contact with, and she would take the phone over and allow her daughter, which was Sebastian's grandmother, to talk to him on FaceTime, so that there was no digital trail of her talking to Sebastian.
That's premeditated.
Oh, well,
that is compliance, Aiden. And the very moment that mom became again an authority figure, Katie is now at the mercy of whatever ill-conceived ideas that woman had.
Oh, of course. And we found out that was going on from one of the family members.
Do the police know about this?
Oh, yeah.
Okay. Oh, what?
So
Oh, the police know? So before the Proudfoot fan club, before that group of people get started on what an awful, horrible interview this was and how Seth and Tony are awful, horrible people, are you guys going to make a comment about how awful and horrible the truth is? What of that, Cluminati and Cletus? Can we at least stand up and say that the story that Seth is telling, that is an awful, horrible truth? You can still be friends with Katie and Chris all you want. Nobody gives a damn who your damn friends are. But you have attacked Seth Rogers. You have listened to a man who gets paid tens of thousands of dollars to lie. Christopher Proudfoot was just the biggest dumbass of the month to say, here, SF Investigates, let me give you my money. I'm the biggest dumbass on the block this month. Next month, it'll be another parent of a missing kid that'll give you $10,000.
They're aware.
We've given them the information. We had several family members come forward and tell us that, cousins, et cetera, tell us that that the great grandmother would take the FaceTime phone over to her daughter, and the grandmother would have, lengthy conversations with Sebastian.
So the morning that Sebastian,
unforgivable.
The morning before Sebastian disappeared, I guess. I am understanding that the 25th of February, 2024, Sebastian's day started with him coming downstairs, his mom making breakfast, which based on her statements was not something she commonly did.
Yes,
making
reality
pancakes,
wins.
in fact.
Absolutely why I'm furious.
Then having him call the grandmother he wasn't supposed to have contact with to brag, whatever that means. They then spend all day doing a bunch of Sebastian's favorite things. And then Sebastian disappears.
Correct. And I'm not saying that I'm using her making the comment that he loved to FaceTime his family members, and he FaceTimed family members that morning. We don't know whether he FaceTimed her that morning or not, just to be clear.
All right.
But we know that on a regular basis, he would FaceTime the great grandmother. She would take the phone over to her daughter and they would have conversation.
Got it. I just want to make sure, because I was going to say, if it played out the way I just described it, I was going to have a whole nother set of suspicions.
Yeah. Well, the other thing I just want to confirm is,
well, you understand why we went to Virginia now, right?
Yeah,
yes. Definitely. Yeah. It makes a lot of sense. But just to confirm for the audience's sake, where were you guys able to kind of confirm that information that these phone conversations with the great grandmother and then subsequently the grandmother were happening?
Well, I think at some point Sebastian actually told Seth.
Got it. 1 second. We were married when Katie's grandfather passed off.
Listen to this story that he's about to tell. And I am speaking specifically to the Proudfoot fan club. I'm speaking to those foolish, lonely, dejected, disenfranchised women out there that slather and slobber all over SF Investigates like he is something special. The man gets paid to create disinformation. He is under no suspicion at all with law enforcement. This man about to speak, this man who is about to tell truth, historically accurate truth, is under suspicion by law enforcement, along with Chris and Katie. He knows he's under suspicion, along with Chris and Katie, and he understands that anything he says better be verifiable through some paper trail somewhere. And you've got military paper trail, you've got medical records paper trail by way of the schools, the child psychologist that the military provided for Sebastian, the CPS reports, everything that took place through the school system. There is, in fact, a paper trail, and it is unforgivable that this district attorney has not brought a case against Chris and Katie. At the very least, Katie. Maybe not Chris, but absolutely Katie's got enough. The man that's about to tell this story, he knows that anything he says better be verifiable. So clean your ears out, ladies. Those of you who are so impressed with SF Investigates, clean your ears out.
And I wasn't allowed to go
to the funeral.
To the funeral.
Okay.
Katie would not buy me a ticket to go back to Virginia with her and Sebastian. And I was forced to stay in California.
Mm-hmm.
While she was there, I called to speak to Sebastian, and I was screamed and yelled at. I'm having dinner with my dad. He is at home with my grandma. Mm-hmm. And I call, and she was like, "You already have the number." It's like, "I need the number because the number you gave me is not working." Mm-hmm. And she gave me the number. I called. Her grandmother answered the phone. And I was like, "I'm calling to speak to my son." And Sebastian got on the phone, and I was like, "Hey, buddy, what are you doing?" Mm-hmm. He was like, "I'm watching TV." I was like, "Who's all at the house?" And he told me Grandma Susie and Grandma Frances. And as soon as he told me that, I told him, go to the living room, watch TV. I will call you back shortly.
Mm-hmm.
And I turned around and I contacted Chesapeake PD to do a welfare check on my son because he's not supposed to be around a particular person, and yet he's sitting there calling her Grandma Frances, which tells me that he knows who she is and he's interacting with her.
Can I ask what year this was? Or how old Sebastian was? If you recall. I guess was this closer to the divorce or closer to the marriage?
This was closer to the divorce. So
like mid 2010s probably.
I think her grandpa passed on in 2015 or 2016.
Okay, gotcha. So very close to the divorce in that case.
Yep.
Yeah, she had already filed.
She had already filed at that point?
She had already told me she wanted a divorce. I don't believe she had filed, but that was the last straw for her.
Gotcha.
So reality wins. You are unbanned.
My grandma's
That
house.
was a misfire. My apology. So you say something, reality wins, so we know that you're back. Okay. So notice what he said. He said that was the last straw for Katie because Seth called for a safety check, right? To make sure that his son was safe because of who was there. So, they're so shady, Limelight. So shady. Oh, 100%. Yeah. I hope Reality Wins comes back. Where is she? I don't see her yet. Oh, well, she'll be back soon. Okay. So, no, it wasn't Seth's last straw. It was actually Katie's last straw that he had the audacity to contact the sheriff's department for a safety check on his child. Isn't that incredible? Absolutely shocking. Shocking. So Katie not only knowingly brings her son to spend time with the perpetrator that harmed her. Sebastian is spending so much time with this sex offender that her name is Grandma Frances. Grandma Frances. This is what I'm talking about by Katie being compliant. Did we find Reality Wins? Is she back? Reality Wins! Are you back? I'm so sorry that happened. I don't see her. Let's see if she answers. All right. It was an accident, Reality. Okay. It was a misfire. I was actually going for someone else. Thank you, Tam. Thank you so much. Okay. So, hey, keep up the chatter. Welcome. It's good to see you. Okay. So, somebody said something a while ago about, well, there's nothing wrong with my ears, so stop yelling. And look, it's my channel. I reserve the right to yell if and when I need to. All right. That someone needs to be yelling. There needs to be a lot of us yelling because we're looking at a year now. We're looking at a year that this kid has been missing. And now we find out what is truth, that this idiotic, ridiculous sheriff has had all of this information. Why hasn't the district attorney acted? Right? And I believe Julie Skolnick, Oh, is it still showing that? Hold on. I believe that Julie Skolnick, she's still timed out. She can be, because I already lifted the let me double check. I may need to go into, listen, tell reality. Okay, there's my moderators. All right. And then my hidden users are down. Okay. I don't know. Maybe it has to update because I've done everything. Strange. Maybe it wasn't the real Reality Wins. Okay, I'm about to end this live. And Reality Wins, I'll find it. I may have to go into the Google account. Okay, so my apologies. Oh, did she come back? I guess it took a minute for it to catch up to us. I'm so sorry. I'm sorry, Reality Wins. It was a misfire, Reality Wins. I was actually trying to block someone else, not you. So my apology. All right. So now then, hey, Biloxi, Mississippi, welcome. Good to have you. All right. Now then, so now back on track. Everything, the universe is back in balance again. Okay. So my anger is like triple fold. I'm furious at the true depth of betrayal against this kid with autism. And it doesn't have to be with autism. I think any child, it doesn't matter how neurotypically normal or brilliantly gifted, I don't care. Any child that has experienced this much abuse by people connected to his mother. I'm going to say it. You can get mad at me if you want to. I hope you don't. He was with his mother when the 15, 16-year-old kid sexually assaulted him when he was just a baby, 7 years old, second grader. He was in the second grade. Katie. The person that reached out to the school and then to law enforcement so that even though they couldn't bring legal charges against the teenager, the school psychologist could try to limit the exposure that he had to other potential victims. And then Seth became too inconvenient for Katie. I believe, this is only speculation. This is me guessing. I do not know anything about this. Please hear me. Okay. It's speculation. I think she got hooked up with Chris Proudfoot. He pursued her. She doesn't have the ability to say no. She got mixed up with him emotionally, just like Chris Watts. And then when Chris said, "You're mine," you need to dump Seth so that we can move forward together, just like Chris Watts and his woman that he picked up. She said, "Shanann's not the one. I'm the one. I can give you a son." And they get told what they're going to do. They just blindly accept it because they don't have what is inside of them to set those boundaries that keep people safe. And she went along with Chris's wishes to end the relationship. And at that point, reaching out to her grandma led her then back, because her grandma says, your mom's changed. You should give her a chance. And so she says, okay, I will. I'll go. And so then she gets into a relationship with her mom again, her perpetrator, and exposes her own child to the perpetrator because Grammy said so. She ends up with a man who comes into Sebastian's life, and the first thing he does is takes away his cats. He has been violated, assaulted, diminished, demeaned, embarrassed, disregarded to a level that me and you we couldn't survive it. And so what was the final directive? What was the final conversation on the fate of Sebastian Rogers? Starved. It's just incredible. You know, I think back now after everything that we've learned, I think back now on some of those other interviews, like the one where Katie goes, oh, fun fact, I cooked breakfast. Fun fact, I made what kind of pancakes did she say she made? Spaghetti pancakes, I think. Her child was missing. Where was the panic? Where were the tears? Fun fact, I made spaghetti pancakes. Look it up. You should look it up. What? What are you saying, Katie? It's mindless. Fun fact, I made spaghetti pancakes. Look it up. Google it. They're delicious. Your child was missing. Your child was missing, and you were giggling, telling people to Google a recipe. Oh my God. I mean, it's always sat really strange with me, right? I knew it was odd. I knew it was a misplaced, out of context thought. Fun fact. But now, after we really have now this doubling down on, I said what I mean, and I mean what I said, and law enforcement can check me, I'm telling the truth, interview with Laura Lodge last night. Now I look back on that moment and I think, may God have mercy on your soul, Katie. After everything that boy had been put through, after everything that kid had been put through, he goes missing, and you do an interview and say, fun fact, I cooked pancakes. Google it. It's incredible. I'm speechless. It's so incredible that this district attorney has not filed charges against her. It's incredible. You saw Tony said Katie did an interview last night with Channel 17. It hasn't aired yet. Well, Eva, to me, and I made a video on it, and I don't remember how long ago that was, but she did an interview, a little known interview. She and Christopher Proudfoot did an interview with Fox and Friends. If you'll give me just a second, let me pull that up. Hold on. I was dumbstruck. My jaw was on the ground watching this thing. I couldn't believe it. And maybe that's why this hasn't aired. The one from last night is because it was equally as shocking and bad. Let me see if I can find it. Let's see, Zachary Hughes. Is this it? Review of an old, no, that's not it. SF investigates. Early morning review. Where is it? It was on Fox and Friends. Oh, here it is. Okay, January. Is that the one? Shoot, it's not. Let me look at this another way. Hold on. Y'all talk among yourselves. Let me find the interview, and then we'll do it this way. Do it a little different. Fox and Friends. Sebastian Rogers. See? You can't even search the silly thing. Wow. Maybe it got removed? Remember, I did multiple videos on Sebastian's age. Remember the photographs? Fox. Let's see. Maybe it's here. You guys talk among yourselves. Okay, so this is... This was the birthday video. So how long ago is that? That was 4 weeks ago. So the Fox and Friends was sometime in that photographs. Not a little kid. Missing persons photo. It looks like that video was taken down. I wonder why. That is interesting. January. Okay, what went wrong? Let's see. Black Hawk, police. School picture day, early morning review. SF investigates. Blizzard Bubba. This. Yeah, weird. Looks like it's looks like maybe it was taken down. Oh, maybe this is it. On the YouTube street, we're digging deep. Here we go. Is this that? Okay, I found it. Yay! I found it. All right, here we go, folks. Good deal. All right, let me share this. So hang on. All right. So this is the interview. I totally think you're right about that.
I mean, isn't that the
This is the interview that was done with Fox and Friends early on. Believe the first part of March. It's not very long, and so I'll let it go ahead and just play through without commenting. March 28th. So he'd been missing about a month, right? About 4 weeks. All right. And perhaps the reason that we haven't seen the new interview come out is because it went like this one, which was basically a dumpster fire of an interview.
case with most misogynists? They talk so big and crude and mean against women, but they're just like little frightened little children. It's what they can't eat. What that all she and took away any lies that they may concoct. So there.
And then you got where he is. Some noise flashlight. Join us in a month now.
Notice if he's directing the question
to
Katie or to Christopher.
Morning, the search for a missing autistic teen gone for more than a month now. Growing more frantic. 15-year-old Sebastian Rogers has not been seen since he left his Tennessee bedroom.
Question. Look at this photograph. Does that look like Sebastian, the kid that went to eat at Texas Roadhouse? Does that look like a 15-year-old? Just truthfully, what do you think? Now listen to this interview, but more importantly, notice the photographs and videos that Katie Proudfoot gave to Fox and Friends. Her son had been missing for 4 weeks.
Barefoot with a flashlight. Joining us now, Sebastian's parents, Katie and Chris Proudfoot. Katie and Chris, thanks so much for joining the program this morning.
Thank you. Thank you for having us.
So, Ms. Proudfoot, you put him to bed. You heard some noises in there. You told him to knock it off. You got up the next morning, and you haven't seen him since. Where do you think your son is right now?
Honestly, we don't know where he is. But now we haven't found any substantial evidence to locate where he's been or where he went. That's why we're pleading for help for anyone out there that might know something or see something that could help us find him.
Ms. Proudfoot, was Sebastian a runner? Did he have a history of running away from?
Anyone who might know something or see something, I'm begging for your help. Look at the photographs that they gave to an international platform to help her find her son, the one that was at Texas Roadhouse.
School or running away from home anytime before?
No, he didn't have a history of running.
Mr. Proudfoot, you're about, I think, 3 hours away. And then you got the call about what happened and you made your way home. You've agreed to a polygraph. You haven't been ruled as a suspect. What do you make of some of the criticism of some people online?
Look at the video. Does that look like the young man who ate with his mother at Texas Roadhouse hours before he went missing? What is wrong with you, Katie Proudfoot? Why would you give these videos and photographs? They look nothing like Sebastian looked the night he went missing.
Saying that they think that you're involved.
It's their personal opinion. It's sad that people have resulted to this kind of rhetoric and verbiage and harassment, but at the end of the day, it's their opinion. But the truth will come out, and then when it does, everybody will finally have their answers.
Oh, what happened there, Chris? Did you want to say everybody was going to owe you an apology? Really?
No, he wanted to say, he wanted to say those fateful words, and then everybody will owe me an apology. If you think that he wanted to say that and he had to come up with a different.
Now you see this photograph over here with the cat in the hat. According to Katie Proudfoot, One of those kids is Sebastian. These are the photographs she gave to an international platform 4 weeks after her son went missing. But she took pictures of him at the Texas Roadhouse. Why didn't she give those photographs where it actually looked like a young man? Why didn't you do that, Katie?
Answer, because he knows Letitia Stout said those very words, right? So if you think that Proudfoot wanted to say, well, when Sebastian's found, then you're all going to owe me an apology, put a 1 if you think he was going to say that. The truth will come out, Trishy. It is Letitia Stout made over, right? Really, let me go back to it. He is really trying to figure out what he really wants to say is, you're all going to owe me an apology, but he has a hard time figuring out what he wanted to say.
It's their personal opinion. It's sad that people have resorted to this kind of rhetoric, and
he says it's sad.
Actually, I'll tell you what is sad, Chris Proudfoot. What is sad is that your wife exposed her child to a known sex offender. That's what's really sad. And it's really, really sad that you took that kid's pets away. Every single one that he got attached to, you took from him just so that you could be Mr. Chris, sir. And the most sad of all, that these are the photographs that your wife chose to give to an international platform. I'm curious, Christopher Proudfoot, have you asked your wife what she did with Sebastian?
That he could return home.
That'd be very interesting to know.
To be with the
these are the
people
photographs that she's willing to
your missing child, answering the question. And I mean, Christopher Proudfoot jumps all right over into the top of her words. This was so weird. Listen again.
As all of his shoes have been accounted for.
Why would he do that? Again, we're back at the shoes. Listen.
Left barefoot. Why are you so confident that he didn't have any shoes on or anything like that?
Because all of his shoes have been accounted for. The shoes have been accounted for.
Watch Katie. He jumps right all over her words. Like he does. It's so rude. He doesn't care that he's talking over her. But watch after, you know how I've been talking about compliant. Katie is compliant, okay? Notice he interrupts her. She dutifully closes her mouth very quickly, and she's done it many times. And then you'll see her shake her head yes, saying, yes, I want to let my husband speak for me. Yes, she is compliant.
As far as now, all of our shoes have been accounted for.
Back at the shoes. Listen.
Watch her shake her head yes.
Left barefoot. Why are you so confident that he didn't have any shoes on or anything like that?
Because all of his shoes have been accounted for.
Crazy.
As far as now, all of our shoes have been accounted for. Mine and my wife.
Okay, so I'll put the link to this video if you want to go and watch the whole thing. If you do, I hope that you will hit the thumbs up. I sure would appreciate it. Okay, but here's the link to that video if you want to go and watch the rest of it. Yeah, C-Star, so strange that he wanted to talk about, oh, my shoes have been accounted for. Very, 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 very strange. He did Reality Wins. He says that all their shoes are accounted for. His shoes were accounted for. Like, Chris, no one cares about your shoes, dude. What are you talking about? It's very odd. It's very strange. I've been curious about her comment on Nancy Grace when she said, I think someone has my son. I believe she told on herself, in my opinion, about them having him abducted to a church facility with the Bauer socks. Wow. Interesting, right? She is preparing her defense, which will be that she is a victim. That is not a bad idea, Barb. Yeah, very, very strange. Of course, Castle. Yes, absolutely. Okay, so this interview, one more part to show and then we'll be
So
done.
I was like, you have our son around somebody that's not supposed to be around children.
So I mean,
why
I
wouldn't
find
you
that
call it do a welfare check?
I find that very interesting. That the final straw was her putting Sebastian in a potentially dangerous situation.
For her, for her, it was the final straw.
That's what I'm saying. Is
That
like
I
for
call
her,
the
it was the final.
police because you're putting him in a situation he should never have been in.
Exactly,
And it
Seth.
seems to be something that has continually happened until my son is now missing.
And he's right, y'all. He's absolutely right.
I don't mean to. I don't mean to cause any pain. I'm trying to understand what happened.
It's not your fault. There's a lot of things there's a lot of stuff I don't understand. I don't understand why a mother wouldn't put her children in danger.
That is
you know, Aiden, what's rough here is
that is the question. Why did Katie continually put Sebastian in a dangerous situation over and over and over and over? She is, Seth, compliant. The only thing standing between a person like Katie and disaster is the authority figure that she is answering to. For Chris Watts, the authority figure changed from his mother to Shanann and from Shanann to Kessinger. And how long did it take? About 4 weeks. Chris Watts said it himself. If I had been in my own house, surrounded by pictures of my family, if I had been there instead of in Kessinger's bed, maybe I wouldn't have done anything. He owned it after he got separation away from Kessinger. Katie's authority figure has changed from the abusive mom, and then later to Seth, and then from Seth to Chris. And the only thing that stands between Katie and disaster is who's given the orders, because she is compliant. All right. I still haven't watched the rest of the trial. We have to do that. We have only missed one day, Jacqueline, of the Zachary Hughes trial. That was today. And I said at the beginning of this, I have been on an odyssey to try to go from being in Colorado to finding my way back to my own home. It has been awful because I was diagnosed with influenza A, and then the crazy travel to get back home, and thank God I'm home. But then when I got here, I had a boatload of work to do today. So it's 10 o'clock already. We don't have time to do the first day of the defense. Well, maybe we could. I wanted to do it. Okay. So let's go ahead and end this live. I'll be back in about 5 minutes and let me make sure that nothing went off the rails today. Hold on 1 second. Let me double check. Zachary Hughes day. Is it day 6 or day 5? Day 6. Day 5. Day 5. That's what we need. It's day 5. All right. All right. So let's end this. Thank you guys for being here. I really appreciate it. Please go over to Lore Lodge. Listen to this interview. You will not believe it. And again, I want to extend my thanks to Seth for coming out and just owning the truth. Instead of letting SF Investigates and the fan club repeat lies after lies after lies after lies after lies. I absolutely appreciate the two Aidens. This is to have two intelligent, unemotional people covering the case in a fair way is so valuable for Sebastian. It is valuable. So thank you to Lore Lodge, to the two Aidens. Thank you, Seth. You continue to have my complete support. And, you know, I got to own it. Tony, you kind of won me over. I got to admit, it hadn't been easy. So I have been very skeptical about Tony and worried about Seth. And, you know, I think I was wrong about Tony. I'm at that point. I really think I was wrong. I think he's probably, you know, had Seth's back in a good way. So, all right. So there we go. And I hope you guys have a really great, wonderful night. And now me and my little 12 Zachary Hughes trial watchers, we are going to watch the first day of the defense's case in the murder of Christine Parcell. Join us. You are more than welcome, but we laugh because no one is watching this trial, right? And it is a fascinating and unbelievable story. And I can't for the life of me understand why nobody's interested in it. It is very, very strange. Yeah, Crime Time. I have been I've actually gone toe to toe with Tony on a couple of different lives. And I've been he knows I've said, I'm not sure I trust you. You know, I'm not sure that you are who you say you are. And I now believe I had it wrong. I think he does legitimately care about Seth and want to help him. And Tony, I apologize. All right, there you go. Now, Diamonds for DC. I love your name. Okay. Diamonds for DC wrote, KP doesn't deserve the mom title. Mothers love and protect. Completely agree, Diamonds. And thank you so much for that super chat. I appreciate it. Also, Fixin' to gave a super sticker for $10. Thank you, Fixin' to. You're awesome. And we are fixin' to go and watch the opening day for the defense in the Zachary Hughes trial. I hope you guys will join us. All right. The rest of you 11 that want to watch the trial with me, I'll be right back. Okay. See you later. Bye.